The final Nas and Hit-boy album, Magic 3, is finally here. And after giving it a full solid listen, as per usual, I have some thoughts. So let's get into it. The overall and main theme that you're going to be getting through this project is that this is the last one. This is the final one that they're doing together. It's kind of like a capstone, and it's a bit of a celebration of sorts. There's 15 tracks, and through the majority of these tracks, you're getting Nas recognizing what they've done over these past 3 years, and also reflecting quite a bit on his career so far. The other major theme that you're going to be hearing with this project is Nas acknowledging his age. And it's not even doing that in a oh man, I didn't realize how old I am sort of way, which, you know, I think a lot of people would just assume he would do because he is now 50 years old. But it's more in a way of like, oh wow, like I'm doing pretty damn good for how old I am. Like, look at me. And like, he's been rapping for 30 years, 30 summers. Like he's been busy. I mean, obviously, like he hasn't put out an album every year. I mean, that'd be insane. But he's just been rapping his ass off this whole time. There's a few notes that I have throughout the project. It starts off strong with Fever, which, you know, is, like I've mentioned, a celebration track for both Nas and hip hop turning 50, kind of acknowledging that they've had longevity. Then you get Tisk, which the beat switch for the hooks just grimy, and then the second verse has more of a boom bap sound to it, which, if you know me, I like that boom bap sound. And you know, he straight up says, "Get back to the art, not the trends." Tisk. Like, there's a lot of rap right now where they just kind of follow people, where they're not necessarily innovating or doing it for the art. They're clout chasing. They're in it to catch a lick. Like, they're trying to get money and then dip. And like, Nas is one of those people who's like, no, I'm doing it for the actual art. Then you have Superhero Status, which I felt was going to be a bigger and more grandiose song, because, you know, Nas is going to call himself a superhero here. I mean, I still do enjoy the song, and he does kind of address his age with the line that says something along the lines of, "Notice a different pain, man, catch me, don't let me slip into no demented stage." He's like acknowledging, yeah, I'm 50 years old now, so, you know, just keep an eye on me. I might fall over and like just start losing my mind. And that's something that I kind of was talking about earlier. Like, it's really interesting to see people rapping consistently into their 50s now, because it gets hard. It's hard to remember words. You gotta say so many things in rap, like you run out of things to say. But Nas just keeps it going. Then we have No Tears, which again kind of touches on Nas as a person, but also his older age. He's basically saying, like, as time has gone on, I just have no more tears. Like, there's all these things that happen in life, things that I'm around, events, and, you know, I can't anymore. And it's not even that he's necessarily trying to be super macho and be like, no, I don't cry. Only the females cry. Like, no, he doesn't say that. He's basically saying, like, he's gone through so much that it's just too much for him now. He doesn't have that option. And he has like a message for his older and younger self in that track as well. Then we get the only track with a feature from Lil Wayne on Never Die. It starts off essentially saying that icons never die, which is probably why he has Lil Wayne here. Lil Wayne being an icon in the culture, obviously. Nas has a pretty quick flow on his verse, and then we get the lighter flick to Lil Wayne's part. And Lil Wayne's rhyme scheme is crazy because there's so many like internal rhymes, and they're not crazy rhymes, all things considered, like, but it just sounds good. Like the way he's rhyming here. And I kind of wish that he would be doing this instead of the stuff, whatever the hell we got on Cat Food. Then we get Pretty Young Girl, which I mean, it's whatever. I wasn't feeling that song too much, but as I listened to it a few more times, who knows? But then we get to Based on True Events 1 and 2. The first one, I mean, before I even start, I have to probably listen to it a few more times to properly understand the story. But it sounds like on the first one, he's talking to a girl and they run into somebody that she knows. He's like, ooh, how do you know this person? Because he kind of looks familiar. After he thinks about it a little bit, he's like, oh, wait, no, this dude used to run with one of my guys. And his guys know, like, he, I guess, the stories that he killed himself. But he's like, nah, that seems a little bit weird. He doesn't seem like the type of person that would do that. And he kind of, or Nas kind of thinks that this dude that they're talking to has a little bit more information, but then they just kind of keep it pushing. But with part 2, we get a little bit more, and it sounds like it's from the perspective of the guy that they ran into. And we get a whole lot of info, like they're all plotting and scheming over the summer, trying to get the money up, and then it sounds like his man got hit. So that's probably what the song's about, or the 2 songs are about. Still, overall, a good storytelling song to it. The second one, I feel, does a bit more than the first, but still, solid storytelling from Nas here. This then goes into Sitting With My Thoughts, which makes perfect sense because that is another reflective song, and it's just him, like, sitting and with his thoughts. He does say, shout out to rappers who inspired me in my beginnings, who I inspire right back when they pen was dwindling, which that's dope. Like, Nas comes from an era where, yeah, there was like straight up rap beef, but also the main focus was like skill and less so of what they had. So Nas being from that older age where, you got to rap good, like it makes sense for him to mention this. Like, there are times where you look to your peers for inspiration and you're like, ooh, you rap like this now? Oh, I can do better. And then vice versa. You get friendly competition and overall just better rhymes, I feel. That then goes into Blue Bentley, which starts off with the Tupac sample, which I wasn't expecting. And it just sounds like it's a follow-up to Blue Benz's from KD1. Then we have Jodeci Member, which honestly I gotta go back to and listen, but my main gatherings from that is that people think he's a Jodeci member. Then we get Speechless Part 2, which is a follow-up from the original Magic album, and it just sounds like he's been left speechless from all the accolades and everything that he's gotten over the past few years with Hit-boy. And then, he starts to remember the old times, and those, like, kind of like what I was touching on earlier. He's gone through a lot in life. Nas is, like I said, he just turned 50, but we've been following him for the past 30 years. We've seen where he started from. Well, not me personally, because I was barely alive then, but a lot of people have seen where he started from and kind of followed his career from there. So they've seen all the ups and downs, and like he's reflecting on that, and like, wow, like that's crazy. Like, I came from this, and now here I am. This then goes into Japanese Soul Bar, which I really love the title of that song because it's such a specific vibe and title. Like, and throughout the whole song, he's like describing this Japanese soul bar, and it sounded like he originally went out there to kind of pitch a movie or like a biopic or something. But halfway through it, he starts setting the scene properly. Like, he's talking about these red lights, the vinyls playing, all that, and it just kind of sounds like there's a beat switch at that point. Perfectly fit the vibe. And I think it's an old interview from when Nas was like first coming out. I think it was before Illmatic, because Halftime was like a song on a previous, like another project before Nas came out properly. And then it ends with 1-800 Nas and Hit. Somebody should try to call that number. I'm very curious because it sounded like Nas was like, oh yeah, no, call that number, leave us a message, tell us how you feel, tell us when we should reunite. So it kind of opens up or leaves their partnership open, even though they're not ending it on bad terms or anything. It's just like okay, well, we've done enough now. Let's dip. And then the final verse is just a credits verse. Overall, I feel like this is a really solid entry, as well as a really solid ending to the 6 album run that Nas and Hit-boy have done. This really is a reflective album, I feel, more so than the previous ones have been. And I mean, that's, again, like, the other ones were very much reflective albums because Nas was getting older. I mean, now he's, like I said, he's 50 now, but he was getting into the second run of his music career. And in that, he's just like thinking back about or on all the times that he's been through, everything that he's done in his career. So this kind of does still carry on that overall theme of him figuring out life. But he does also mention on that final track that he's finally killed the King's disease. And if you remember from my video on King's disease years ago, King's disease is essentially like gluttony, and it was a disease that only like the rich would get because they would have access to all these sorts of things. And because you're gluttonous and greedy, you're gonna get gout and stuff like that. So he's basically like all that excess that he had, he put it into music instead of consuming it in himself. So he's spreading the wealth, and giving everybody just something to listen to. Like, he's not giving everyone King's disease because not everyone should have gout. No one should have gout. But it's a really cool idea. Like, and I'm sure there's more to pick up on throughout the project as I listen to it some more. But yeah, he ends out this album or this run very well. It's still too early to say where this would rank in terms of the other 5 albums, but you know, give it some time. Maybe I'll put out another video, rank them, and yeah, we'll go from there. But it's kind of bittersweet because this was a run that felt good. But you know, it is what it is. Let me know in the comments below, though, what you thought of this final installment of Nas and Hit-boy, and what you're looking forward to next. I know I posed this question on the last video, but let me know who you would want Nas to collaborate with going forward. I saw a lot of great options, and as I was listening to, I think it was Magic or King's Disease 3 earlier today, he said something about that DJ Premier album might still happen. So maybe that's actually the one that's coming up next. I don't know, but talk about that in the comments. And if you aren't subscribed already, make sure you do so you don't miss more content like this. Thank you for watching, and please stay safe out there.